Well, there's always a way for us to make a difference in everything that we do. And when you find people that are leading the way, it's really exciting to have a conversation with them. So, on this episode of Agents in the Trenches, I have the privilege of bringing on for all of us a dear, new friend, Neil, who not only is in the industry, but is helping agents to rise. And I think there's no better time than this for us to be able to help agents rise because we know that the market has changed so much. We know that we're living in a different world of real estate. It doesn't matter what city you're in. Things are not the way that they used to be, and they're going to continue to change. So, Neil, welcome to Agents in the Trenches. I would love for you to introduce yourself to our audience and tell us all about you.
Thank you so much, Coach Lucy. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm just really excited to help agents get a clear plan because I think a lot of us spin our wheels and we just don't know what to do every single day to build our business. And this is something that I've been passionate about helping agents do for the last 10 years. And prior to that, I sold over 1,000 homes in a little town in Madison, Wisconsin. And so I sold real estate there for almost 20 years and then started coaching. And now I have the privilege of helping hundreds of agents across the country build their clear plan. Because what I've seen agents do is if they have a clear plan that's congruent to them and then they stay consistent with that plan, that's where they succeed. And a lot of us just don't stay consistent long enough because we don't have a clear plan to stay consistent with. And so they all go hand in hand. If you get that clear plan that's congruent to you, meaning it feels right, and then you stay consistent with that plan, that's where the success comes. And I'm happy to share all of that with everybody today.
I love that. And Agents in the Trenches is a space and a place where we talk about the real, raw realities of real estate, right? So everybody gets into real estate because they want to make a lot of money. They want to be their own boss. They want to be able to do what they want, when they want, if they want. But we know that's not always the truth. So take us back to your early days in real estate and what did you learn and how did you overcome some of those tough lessons that now today you teach agents across North America?
Yeah, I think my story is really similar to a lot of agents. And what I started out with was just that shiny object syndrome where I just tried everything to see what would stick to the wall, throw the spaghetti at the wall and just try it all. And with that, I had a lot of shiny object syndrome where I was just trying one thing one month and another thing another month. And I was told to call FSBOs and expireds. And I was handed FSBOs and expired scripts and said, you got a list to live and go dial for dollars and go out there and get it. Well, that was not my thing. I just struggled. I hated, like, I think a lot of us, I struggled to pick up that phone and I struggled to make those calls. And I remember just feeling really defeated. My first 6 months, I sold one house to my best friend. And so I just really, really struggled. I got that one sale, but I was spinning my wheels and I almost quit. I remember going into my manager's office and just saying, I don't think this business is for me. It's just such a grind. I just don't think I can do it. And she's like, what do you mean? She's like, you grew up in this town. She's like, you must know hundreds of people. And like, what do you mean? This is like, you're just going in the wrong direction. And so she started to get my eyes open to like what would feel right for me instead of me trying to do what everybody else was doing, because in the office I was just surrounded by dialers. And so
Right.
I felt like that was the only way. And that's why I felt stuck. So I started to what I now call is my 3-pillar plan. But back then I just started to piece it together and I realized that I have a sphere of influence. I have people that I know, like friends and family and, coworkers and all. I mean, I grew up in the town that I was serving and I knew a lot of people. So I started with my sphere of influence. And then I developed what I call as a chase pillar, which meant for me to go out there and get it. Right. So common chase pillars are like open houses, online leads, FSBOs and expireds. There's a whole list of them. And then I Then I started to see that there was an attraction pillar, meaning you could put content out there like social media, blogging, YouTube's, you could put content out there and attract people. So I
Mm,
developed what I now call my 3 pillar plan. I started mailing monthly newsletters. I started doing open houses every single weekend. And I started doing, back then, I'm going to date myself, I started blogging because social media wasn't a thing yet. So I was blogging back then, but that was my 3 pillars. And I used those 3 different pillars to attract clients, right? That got me, like, if we were looking like, where are my leads coming from? It all
mm-hmm.
came from my 3 pillars. And so once I started seeing these 3 pillars and started seeing that, if I like, my plan started to become clear, and then I started to work accordingly to those 3 pillars. And I do what I
Wow.
call is day blocking. So every day has a different task that points to the 3 pillars.
Okay, so I want to break this down because this is really important. And we have someone, one of our viewers is asking, okay, I want to know more about the pillars. So the first pillar was the chase pillar. Is that what was it was
Yes.
called?
Sphere
Okay.
sphere of influence, sphere of influence. So like your friends, your family, your peeps,
Okay.
and then the chase pillar and the attraction pillar.
Okay, so sphere of influence, and then your chase pillar, and then your attraction.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
so, but it took you 10 months to sell your first home. It reminds me of me. It
Yeah.
took me almost, I think I sold one house my first year of real estate. Um, what do you think was the differentiator?
Hmm.
Most people would have thrown in the towel, would have quit, would have gone out
Hmm.
and gotten a job. They would have said, this is not for me, this is not working. But what was the thing, the one thing that
Hmm.
got you to go from no deals, right? 10 months to close one deal
Yep.
is, I
Yep.
mean, basically
Yep.
no deals,
Yep.
to pushing beyond. I always like to break down the anatomy of that real estate agent or that business person for that sake, right? That
Yes.
went beyond their own odds, right? Instead of quitting, what took you beyond the quitting point?
Yeah. What I realized was all I needed was a way to meet people, to get engagements, to get, we call it leads, right? I just needed a lead source. And I was doing FISBOs and expireds, and I wasn't loving it. So what I learned is that you can do hard things in this business, right? And you can do
Hmm.
things that you don't love. You're always going to be doing hard things, and you're always going to be doing things that you don't love. But what I learned is that it's hard to build the business around those things. And if you, those hard things are hard to stay consistent with. And as soon as I switched my chase pillar from calling FISBOs and expireds to doing open houses, I just lit up. And I had,
Okay.
it was like, it was almost like my plan just became real to me. Like I went from, just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing if it would stick, to seeing like, oh my gosh, I've got a sphere of influence, a chase, and an attraction on. And then every single day of the week, I'm working according to those pillars. So the
Hmm.
plan becomes clear, because a lot of us don't even know what to do every day, right? We're like,
Yes.
we've got all these ideas. We know we're supposed to be, talking to our sphere of influence. We know we're supposed to be chasing. We know we're supposed, but we don't even know what to do. And so
Hmm.
once it gets clear, then the clear plan that's congruent to you, and then you stay consistent with that plan, that's where the breakthroughs come.
I love it. And I want everyone to ask your questions because here's one thing that I've learned, Neil, after doing the business of real estate for so long, right? I got into real estate in the year 2000, and then I opened up my own office in 2005, which took me from sales to operations, which is totally different. But I always tell people the things that work in real estate work in any other business. The principles are universal, right?
Mhm. Yes.
So let's break down the sphere of influence pillar
You
because
bet.
most people fail in business, whether it's real estate, whether it's photography. Like I know we have a photographer that's watching us on this live. By the way, guys, go ahead and give us a hashtag live. If you're watching us on live, give us a hashtag, the city that you're in. So let us know where you're at because we want to engage with you, right? We want you to connect with us as well if you're watching us. So Neil, let's break down the sphere of influence,
Mhm.
because I know it doesn't matter whether you're selling real estate or selling anything else or selling mortgages or selling shoes. We're all in the people business.
Mhm.
And you hear most people, most agents, most business owners say, I need more business. I don't have enough business. Well, you are hitting on the jugular, for a lack of a better term, of every business. Sphere of influence. What do you tell people on how do they start utilizing their sphere of influence? Because most people have 2,000 contacts on their phone and they say, I don't have anybody to sell to. So how do you
Right,
break that
right.
down for them?
Yeah. Yeah, so what you've got to do is you've got to build a foundation. You've got to build something that is going to work for you every single month. And a lot of us will rely on social media. We'll post that we're now an agent on social media. Maybe we'll get it a little bit more advanced and we'll start sending emails. And so we start to flood people's inboxes. And what I've learned is that our inboxes are really full and our mailboxes are not. And going all the way back to 2002, I started mailing monthly newsletters. And I thought by now, 2025, I would no longer be talking about mailing monthly newsletters. But the truth is it's the exact opposite. Mail is performing way better than email. And our inboxes are
Wow.
flooded and our mailboxes are not. So what I recommend is that we start out by building that database. Build a database of around 100 people. And almost
Hmm.
everybody on this call should have 100 people that they know, unless they just moved to a brand new area. But otherwise, everybody should at least know 100 people. Okay.
I love
So
that.
we get 100 people into a database. We send an announcement letter. And if you're a new agent, it's the new agent announcement letter. And if you're an existing agent right now and you just haven't done a good job of staying in touch with your sphere, then you should send a reconnect letter. And a reconnect letter is just a letter that says, "Hey, I thank you so much for the business. Because of people like you, I'm really busy, but I haven't done a good job of staying in touch. And so from this
Right.
day forward, I want to stay in touch." So we got that database built, we got that announcement letter built, and then I highly recommend sending monthly newsletters. And a company called Fast Newsletters or Service for Life, those are two different companies that will produce the newsletter for you and
Wow.
then send it on your behalf. Now, why does newsletters work? Let me just touch on this because I know I've got some people probably saying, "What? I'm not mailing newsletters. That's crazy. Email is cheap, mail is expensive. Why would I ever mail?" Okay. Please hear me. Okay. This is why it works. When you think about the people that you're mailing to, they may
Hmm.
know you, they may trust you, they may like you, all of that. But the question you have to ask is, do they trust you with their real estate?
Oh, okay.
Everybody knows multiple agents, and the
Mhm.
newsletter helps build that trust over time, because in the newsletter we recommend um, uh, a thank you section. So anybody that has recently referred you, you thank them in the newsletter. It's a gratitude section. And what it
Okay.
does is it shows that others are referring you, therefore they're going to start referring you. Also in the newsletter, we can put evidence of success with your recent solds, your recent listings, all of that. So again, this starts to build the trust. Also in the newsletter, we can put articles. Instead of "call me if you're thinking about buying and selling," you could say, "Call me if you're thinking about selling, because I've got a special guide for 29 essential tips to getting your home sold fast and for top dollar," right? So it's a guide
Hmm.
to offer them instead of call me if you're thinking about selling. So all of this positions you as the expert, positions you to help build the trust. And so when the time comes for them to sell, they're at least going to interview you because they see your name month after month, year after year, and agents come and go all of the time. And if you ask anybody in your sphere, they probably know 3 to 5 people. So
Yep.
how are you going to win? And that mail every single month, even if they just see it in the mailbox and throw it away, you're still building that foundation with them to be the go-to.
You know what I love about business? Because again, real estate is a business. Number one. Number one, I tell everybody this. You're getting into real estate, you're not getting into a business of houses, you're getting into a business of people. You know, the way that I like to teach it, Neil, in my own, style is, what is the first step to closing a transaction? What is the first step? The very fundamental first step is, Look for the people and talk to the people.
Mhm.
The problem that every real estate agent has, the problem that every business owner has, they're not talking to enough people.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
have to look for the people and talk to the people. So, what you're saying is, so you have your database of 100 people. That's number one, guys. Again, I don't care what you're selling, go back to basics, make a list of 100 people. And then you're creating a newsletter, physical newsletter that you mail to them,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And so you're sending out what community information, information on you. What do you put on that newsletter?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
know most
yeah.
people are going to get stuck and they're going to end up on Canva for 3 months until
Right, right.
Christmas working on their newsletter.
Right. That's why I love like a company like Fast Newsletters or Service for Life. So Fast Newsletters is letters plural at the end. So fastnewsletters.com. I think their newsletters are like 12 to 14 bucks a month and they produce the content for you. So every month it comes and all you do is change it to make it your brand, make it your voice, and away it goes. And you can, I think a lot of things with newsletters too, people struggle with the cost of it, and what I would
Uh-huh.
recommend is looking for partners in the newsletter. You can,
Right.
your lender partner, your title partner, look for partners that can share in the cost and share in the, they can, like I did it with my lender back in Wisconsin. We had a little mortgage corner every single month. Abby, my lender, would put a little write up about what's going on in the mortgage world, where interest rates are at, all that good stuff, and then she paid for my stamps every single month, right? So you can do these different things, partners to, contractors love to be in these newsletters, and there's different ways to make it so that it's affordable, and then it's a set it and forget it, it's a monthly thing, and that monthly piece is what really makes it resonate. And you mentioned too the engagements, okay, or the
Hmm.
talking to enough people. The
Hmm.
point behind all of this is, you've got your three pillars at the top. You've got lead conversion in the middle. We call it matchmaking, and I can talk more about matchmaking today too. But
Okay.
matchmaking's in the middle, and then your servicing, showing houses and all of that is at the bottom, and that is the funnel. And in each of those categories, we aim to get 30 to 60 engagements a week. And so you're getting engagements from your sphere, your chase, and your attraction up at the top. You're going to get matchmaking engagements, and then you're going to get out there showing properties and writing offers and all that. And that creates engagements. And if you get 30 to 60 a week, you're going to sell 25 to 50 homes every year, because I just
Wow.
see it like consistently. Mhm.
Oh my goodness, this is getting really good. So for everyone that just joined us now, I'm here with Neil, and he is the founder and leader of Agent Rise. How do you call your company? A training
A-
company,
yeah, Agent Rise
coaching
Coaching.
company?
Yep, yep, yes,
Agent Rise
yes,
Coaching,
yes,
and we're
yes,
breaking down the three pillars that he found after going, what, 10, you said 10 months to
yeah,
sell your first house when you
yes,
first got into real estate, right?
yes,
And
yes.
now you're giving the person the fundamentals of how to close 25. Listen, anybody that's closing 25 transactions a year, you're earning six figures. Would
Mhm.
you agree, Neil?
Definitely, definitely. Yep, yep,
Yes. So
yes.
everybody needs to be closing 25 transactions a year. Let me ask you, Neil.
Mhm.
So everybody that's joining us now, ask your questions, uh, drop your comments. Let's activate the chat. Neil, how many newsletters would a person, because you're saying, okay, 30 to 35 connections a
Mhm.
week, right? We're looking somewhere at about 140 connections a month. How many newsletters does a person need to be sending out weekly?
Yes. So I would mail the newsletters on a monthly basis, and we always say start out with around 100, aim for 100 first, and then once you hit that 100 number, go all the way up to 300. My database was 330. At the peak of my career, was all the way up to 330. And what I saw was that every single year I would sell about 20%. So if I was mailing to 300, I would do about 60 transactions. The newsletter, just mailing the newsletter, because I had newsletter, client events, Popeyes. I did a whole bunch of things for my sphere, right? So we're just talking about the foundation. The newsletter
Yeah,
is the foundation.
newsletter.
And newsletters by itself, we've seen this after 12 to 18 months of mailing. After 12 to 18 months of mailing, we're seeing 10%. So if you're mailing to 100, you'll do 10 deals a year just from your newsletter. 200 people, you'll be doing 20 deals a year,
Wow.
right? and it's just, this comes after 12 to 18 months. And you could interview hundreds of agents inside Agent Rise, and I can't believe how many will say, like, Neil, this was the one thing that I didn't trust you on. I didn't believe that newsletters were going to do it. And then wham, like 12 to 18 months, like one lead after another, because you just
Wow.
built that trust with your sphere. And it's also not salesy and cheesy, right?
Right.
Like the newsletter, a lot of us don't want to bother our sphere, and the newsletter is not bothering them. They
Right.
enjoy it. There's things in there that they like to read. And I could talk more
Wow.
about newsletters, but we would turn the whole
Yeah.
episode into just newsletters.
Well, you know what? And I like to dissect it because a lot of times, I'm one of those coaches that I'm in no rush to give people a lot of information because I focus more on than implementing. So even if everyone that watches this episode, the only thing they do is go start and kickstart and launch their newsletters, you just gave them the numbers.
Mhm.
10% of whatever you mail is going to turn into those leads. Now, remember, guys, you have to answer your phone. You have to be immediate response. You've got to do what you say you're going to do, right?
Mhm.
You've got to follow up because the fortune is in the follow up. So, Neil, you just said something that you include your partners, right? Your partners in
Mhm.
your newsletter. I do all the things that I do with Premier Partners. So we're going to take 30 seconds to give a shout out to our Premier Partner, and we will be right back.
Red Sun Insurance. Dándote el poder de crecer. Red Sun Insurance. RedZoneInsurance.com.
Red Zone Insurance tiene increíbles oportunidades de franquicias y queremos compartirlas contigo. Llama al 305-255-1901 y conocerás el camino a emprender tu propio negocio, tu propia franquicia. 305-255-1901.
Red Sun Insurance. RedZoneInsurance.com.
Yeah, so shout out to our Premier Partner, Red Zone Insurance. And so, okay, so newsletters to your sphere.
Mhm.
For those that are thinking, but you also said make a list of 100 people, right? So
Yes.
who are these people that you recommend people put on their 100 list?
Yes, this is great. And I also see a comment here too, like you feel overwhelmed. We do have steps that I'll give you, and you do want to take it step by step because the whole process can seem overwhelming. So we'll make sure we cover the steps so that you can kind of see how this all lays out. And the newsletters. I'm sorry, I forgot the question now. Gosh darn it.
The question was when they're doing their 100 list, right?
Yes, how do they build
Who
the
are the
database?
people?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Okay, let's get there.
who do
Yeah,
you recommend they
yeah.
put on their list, right? Because here's what I know. A lot of times we tend to disqualify people, right? So,
Mhm,
oh, this person won't buy from me. Oh, this person may buy
mhm.
from me. So I want people to walk out of this moment that we're sharing with them with the clarity of, okay, so who do I put on my 100
This is
person
great.
list?
This is great. Yeah. So start out with a list, and then and we'll talk about how to build that list, and then you can rank your list eventually, right? So you can start out by, here is my entire list, and then you can turn them into A pluses, A's, A minuses, and the A pluses are the people that have used you and would refer you. So you can rank all of them. Okay. But let's step back. Let's go to how to build the database. And what I see here is start with your phone. A lot of contacts are right in your phone, and what I recommend is just get a spreadsheet. Go to Google Sheets and just get a simple spreadsheet. And all you need is name and addresses. So just list all of the names. Go through your phone and list all of the names. Go through your Facebook friends, your Instagram followers, your LinkedIn. Look through your email database. Like, just think through every person that you know. And this gets very people-y, we call it, right? Like, this gets really people-y, and we start to overthink every single relationship. And this is what I beg you to not do, because we sit there and we say, oh, I haven't done a very good job of maintaining the relationship with them. I probably shouldn't start mailing to them. And just please don't make that mistake. They are not thinking about you. they're too busy thinking about themselves. So don't overthink this, and just simply, it's mail. If they don't like it, they can throw it away. And if they really don't like it, they'll call you and ask you to be removed, remove them from the mailing list. And no problem, remove them from the mailing list. It'll save you some stamps. But seriously, don't overthink this part. Just build the database, go through your friends, go through all, the list, and just look and look and look, and don't overthink this part. And the other thing too is, some of us will not mail to people that recently lived here, but now they moved away. Those are the most ideal people to mail to, because they probably know other people that might be moving away. And so, and they commonly move back. So please put these people on your mailing list. If you've got good friends and family that live in other parts of the country, you want them on your list. Trust me. And so that's what I would do. Build that database of around 100, and then keep going once you've got that 100 names.
So how many? Okay, so the people that want to implement this, so okay, they make their 100-person list, and they contact the fastnewsletters.com. What kind of information goes out on those newsletters?
Yeah, there's 4 components that I looked at every newsletter should have in it. You should have a trivia section, so monthly trivia, and this creates engagement. We give away a $5 or $10 coffee card, and it's amazing how many people want to play this trivia game every single month with you. The other thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that the newsletter isn't all about real estate. If it's all about real estate, it'll bore them, and if they're not interested in real estate, they just simply won't read it. So better look at it like, if you remember, and I might date myself here, but the Reader's Digest, if you ever remember that book, Reader's Digest had a little bit of everything for everybody. So go lifestyle, go, money hacking tips, just think of like Reader's Digest, give them a little bit of everything. Also put some things in there like little tidbits and did you knows and funny, dad jokes, and, just little humor in there. Some put like crossword puzzles and other things. Okay. And then also you want to have articles, call to actions for articles or guides that would interest them, so that you're not just saying, call me if you're thinking about buying and selling. And then the last component that you're looking for is that thank you section. The thank you section is where you thank anybody that has influenced your business, not just necessarily giving you a referral, but just anybody that has influenced your business. And so it's just a thank you. It's a section of saying, I can't do this alone. Thank you. And then it's people like you that keep referring me. And this is what breathes life into the referrals. And
I love that. That's really good. That's really good. I mean, I'm even here listening to you. I'm thinking of, I got to start doing this. I mean, I have databases of a lot more people, but I know I can bring it down to starting with a new 100 database list that I can put on a newsletter. And there's so much that I can share, because obviously I'm always doing something, right? Like yesterday we had our Winners Wednesday Productivity Bootcamp 2.0 mastermind. And I mean, we had a room full of real estate agents and, team leaders and brokers and mortgage people. But I think that's really interesting what you're sharing. And even though it's something that we don't think of doing a lot nowadays, that's the reason to do it. Like, do the stuff nobody else is doing, right?
Right. Yep. It seems really old school and outdated, but trust me, it just simply works. And you just get this in a rhythm. And that, this is just the foundation. Like I also did client events. So I did one big annual party and then a lot of other smaller parties. And they all went in my newsletter. 2 months before the event, they were in my newsletter, and we would stamp on the outside of the envelope, client invite enclosed. So it was like, open up this newsletter. This one's got the invite. And then we would do that 2 months before the event, and then after the event, all the photos and the links to the photos was in the newsletter. So we would just say, hey, make sure you check the newsletter when it comes out next month. We'll have all the photos in there. And then I also had a VIP Facebook group for my clients. I had a rental program for my clients. So I had a moving trailer. I had pressure washers, wheelbarrows, ladders, the things that you would need around your house maybe once or twice a year. I stocked all of that and made it available for my clients. So this was like my full sphere of influence pillar, right? So we're talking right now about just the start of it, and then you can add even more to it as you go.
This is really interesting. Okay, so that's the first pillar. The first pillar is work your sphere of influence. And of course, you can start with the newsletters, but you also included emails. What else did you include in that first pillar with your
Yeah,
sphere?
you can do emails, and if we're talking emails, I really like a monthly home evaluation email. The open rates on those are really well. I also like deal of the week email, so an email that is
Okay.
sent out every week offering deals, especially if you're attracting investors. That is just gold. And then I also love CMA a day, where every single day you do a CMA and send it out to a video CMA that you send out to somebody in your sphere. So those are additional emails that I really like that are open rates. You can also do the Ricky Carruth type email, where it's a weekly email with a market update in it, and then if you're doing YouTube, you could plug in a YouTube video every single week. So those are the emails that I like. And again, you start with this, and you start with the newsletter, and then you start adding some things, and maybe you already have email going, so you just leave it going, but you can get your foundation built with your newsletter.
Wow, we could be here the rest of, I mean, we could be here the rest of the day. But then
Yeah.
the second pillar was chasing,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
What went into chasing? Because
So,
we've got people watching now and later that are like either stuck or they're new in their business or they're looking to scale, right?
yeah.
Everybody is in some type of a season in their business. So if you're stuck, I mean, you got to relaunch. If you're, looking to go to that next level, then you've got to kickstart whatever you're doing. So,
Yes.
or and if you're new in the business, any kind of business, but especially real estate, then you got to get those wheels turning, right?
Yes.
So, um, tell me that second pillar. What
The chase
what
pillar. Yep.
included that? Yes.
Yeah, the chase pillar is the pillar that is the least favorite pillar. It's the one that's going to make us go out there and get it and do difficult things. So a lot of us really struggle with the chase pillar. So let me explain what the chase pillar is. So open houses, online leads, FISBOs and expireds, geo farming, door knocking, and then we get into a list of niches. Okay, so we have those are the primary ones, and then niches like working with investors, working with first-time home buyers, working with seniors, working probate and estate sales. The list goes on. You can do new construction, you can do developments. There's so much different niches that you can do, and the idea behind this is pick the one that excites you the most. And when I started thinking about this back in the day, open houses was my jam, because I had an opportunity in my office. There was a top listing agent that said in one of the business meetings back in the day, she said, "I am not doing any more open houses. I can't stand these open houses. I'm not doing another one." And there I was, 21-year-old Neil. I walked over to her and said, "Hey, I'll do all of your open houses for you." And every single weekend I did open houses for 5 years straight. And I became an open house master because of it. I just became
Good for
really
you.
good at it, right? So
I
that's the
tell
thing that
people,
drives
I
us.
and I want everyone to hear this. Open houses work, but you have to work the open houses,
Mhm.
right? So let me ask you the million-dollar question, Neil, because I'm one of
Yeah.
those people that I like to just bring in the real raw reality, like no
Mhm.
sugarcoating, just like give it to me straight.
Mhm.
What did you do to make your open houses work? Because I
Yes.
know agents want to do one open house. They're expecting to sell 5 houses at that one open house, and
Mhm.
then they say, "Oh, open houses don't work."
Right.
What did you do
Here we
to
go.
become an open house master?
This is what I see most of us make the mistake, is we wait for that unicorn moment where the buyer walks in, we hit it off, we become best friends, I whisk them away, and we go buy a house together, right? Like that's what we're all going for. And that does happen, right? I've had plenty of that in my career, doing over 1,000 open houses. I've had that happen. But that's not the mark you're going for. The mark that you're going for is much easier. And what you're going for is you need two things from everybody that you meet. You need their contact information and their search criteria. So again, you need their contact information, you need some way of getting a hold of them, and you need to understand what they're looking for. And I call it their story of criteria. Everybody that's moving has a story and why they're moving and the reasons they're moving and what they're looking for. And so my goal is to hear that story, to get them talking so that I can hear that story. So this is the exact steps that I take. I stand at the front door, at the front of the home, like maybe it's the foyer, maybe it's the living room, but just kind of like that center front place. I have a whole line of clipboards in my hand, just small 6x9 clipboards with a survey, with a questionnaire on it. Okay. The questionnaire is just for them to circle answers. They don't need to fill out a lot of things, just circle answers. And at the bottom of that, I ask them for their contact information. So I hand them a clipboard and I say, can you take this as you're walking through the home? Would you mind completing this survey so that we can give the seller feedback? And, I just hand it to them and they're like, yep, no problem. And so as they're walking through the home, I let them go and I hold post because I want to be there to talk to the next person that walks in the door. And then as they're leaving, I just say one thing to them. I say, so what did you think? And my goal behind, so what did you think, is to get them talking about the house. Well, we love it, but boy, we have 3 teenagers and I don't think that lower level family room is big enough. Or we need a bigger backyard, or we don't like that the first floor is on the main level. We've got 3 kids, right? So they'll tell us all of the things of what they like and why they don't like it and all of those reasons. And that's what I'm listening for. And so then what I do is I look at the clipboard. I've got their contact information, and we could go on. If they don't fill it out, I can tell you how to get them to fill it out. But like they don't fill it out. Let's say they filled it out for this scenario. They filled it out, and I got their criteria from them. Now what I can do is matchmaking, and matchmaking is simply, think about it, guys. Real estate is so simple. Buyers want houses and sellers want buyers, and we help bring it together. We're matchmakers. Yes. That's what we do. And so what I've learned is that if I get their contact information and their criteria, I can matchmake. Let me give you an example really quick of how this comes together. So I was at an open house once. There was a couple that was there with their little toddler. The little toddler was getting antsy. So the dad took the toddler into the car and mom finished seeing the home, and mom was at the front door putting shoes on. And I went up to her and I just said, so what did you think? What are you thinking? She goes, wow, it's a nice house, because she goes, but we have 3 friends that are realtors, so they were like really anti-realtor. And I'm like, hey, no problem. I sell a lot of houses in the area. And so even if you just tell me what you're looking for, I can always call your agents and let them know. And she's like, oh yeah. So she told me that they were looking for a more space, that she said that they currently own a ranch home and they have small groups that come over a lot. And it's just, she has to clean the entire house. So she's like, I would love to have a 2-story so that all of the laundry and everything was upstairs, and then I would only have to clean the main floor. And I'm like, amen, sister, I get you. I know what you're going for here. I get this. And so I'm like, great, sounds good. I'm like, if I ever come across something, I'll let you know. Well, it wasn't but a couple weeks later, there was a brand new listing that backed up. It was on a cul-de-sac, and it backed up to an amazing park. And
wow.
But it was a ranch, and she wanted a 2-story. It was a 2-car garage, and they wanted a 3-car garage. Okay. So many reasons for it not to fit. Okay. But I called her, and she thought my number was somebody else. So she answered, which was awesome. And so she answered the phone, and I said, hey, this is Neil. We met a couple weeks ago at an open house. You may or may not remember me. But anyways, I saw this house and I thought of you. And what I said is that it's a ranch, and I know you're looking for a duplex or a 2-story, but I said, please hear me out. I said the backyard backs up to Carriage Hills Park, like the you can see from the kitchen window the playground equipment. And I'm like, anybody with kids, this would just be a perfect house for them. And so I thought of you. I don't know if you're still looking. She goes, oh my gosh. She goes, I think I know what house you're talking about. She goes, my husband's going to kill me, but let's go look at it. I ended up selling them that house. I ended up being their listing agent as well, because they just liked my style, and they liked that they didn't have to pick out what agent. They had 3 agents and that they could pick from. And so my thought with all of this is that if you understand what people are looking for and you present it to them and say, hey, I saw this one and I thought of you, it just simply works. And that's the process. So, yeah.
I love that. We have a quick question here. I know we're running out of time. I mean, we could be here for hours. And let me tell you, just as yourself, I know a lot of agents that need a refresher on all of this, or need to get back to basics, or need to kickstart doing all these things, right? But we have a question here from Cindy. She says, "So tell me how you get them to fill out the paper, because obviously, um, that's one of the dilemmas in at the open houses is, okay, how do I get them to register, right? But we're not saying come register, which nobody should ever say come register, because nobody likes to give out their information. So give us your style and your tactic for that."
the, the mistake that I see most of us do is we put it on the kitchen table and we ask them to go fill out the form. They will avoid that kitchen table and they will never go fill that out. And I found if I hand them a clipboard and I ask them to fill it out for the seller, we're providing feedback for the seller. Would you mind completing this for me so that I can, like, do me a favor type thing so that I can provide this for the seller? The other thing too is the iPad, the open house iPad. Just having them sign in on an iPad, that's how you can get contact information really easily. The form itself, a couple of questions that we put on the form is, one is we don't have them fill anything out. We have them circle things. If they have to write their opinions, they just simply won't do it. So it has to be yes or no, or how did you like. And I also don't ask agents if they have. I don't ask buyers. I'm sorry. I don't ask buyers if they have an agent. What I do is on the sheet, I ask, how did they discover the home? Did they find it from the sign? Did they find it from Zillow? Or did their agent tell them about it? And if their agent told them about it, then I know that they have an agent. And then I just simply ask them, who's your agent? And then they say, oh, I'm working with Peggy at Remax. Oh, you're in great hands with Peggy at Remax. Or if they say, I don't even know, well, then they're probably fibbing me, right? They probably don't
Wow.
have an agent, right? So,
This
yeah.
is really good stuff. I mean, and we only covered, well, we went deep on the newsletter. I like the newsletter idea. I think everyone needs to go invest and kind of kickstart or relaunch their business with the newsletters. I wanted to remind everyone, if you've missed part of this episode, or if you're watching on replay and you want to go look at it again, or you want to look at our other episodes, my team has dropped the link where you can actually go in and watch all the agents in the trenches, because just like Neil today, you've brought such valuable information that is applicable, especially right now where most people are thinking, oh, there's no business is tough, I'm not able to get deals. But I want to respect your time. So what would be that one thing? What is that one thing that you would tell a real estate agent, regardless of their level of production? They could be 5 minutes in the business, they could be, 5 years in the business, or they could be 25 years in the business. What is that one thing that you could tell them right now to get back, start doing, be consistent, and they'll start seeing those results?
Yeah, I think the place where you're going to find immediate results is with your chase pillar. The sphere and the attraction take time to build. And so you can go do an open house today and sell a house tomorrow. Mailing to your sphere, it's going to take a little bit of time. You might get some early results, but we usually see them in 12 to 18 months. The big results, the 10 to 20% results I was talking about. And then the attraction pillar, I mean, to build a YouTube channel and to build all of that out, and to any attraction pillar is going to take time. So go to the chase pillar and look at the chase pillar, and this is the area where you're going to go get immediate results. Right? This is like, you could go do an open house. You could go call FSBOs and expireds. You could go do circle prospecting. You could go door knocking. But here's the thing. Please don't just do it once. Please don't just try it. And I didn't get any results, so I'm not going to do it again. Like, keep going. Like, we say throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. No, throw it at the wall until it sticks. Like, just keep going and you're going to find it. Because over time, you're going to become a master of it. And that's what's
Right.
going to lead to the results.
I mean, I love the way that you lay out the foundation, the building blocks, the way that just dissect it, explain it. I think that, that's really where the magic happens, because it helps people understand. And you just said it right. Newsletters work. Everything works if you work it. But obviously, it's going to take an investment of money and time, right? That chase pillar is really where you're going to have the most control, but it's going to take an investment of commitment and consistency. And I think that's where most people miss the championship. They just give up just when they're about to see the breakthrough because obviously it's not happening fast enough. So,
Yes.
Neil, what do you tell that person that says, okay, I'm going to start doing the open houses? How many open houses in
Yeah.
your experience? I've got
See,
my own experience, but in your,
yeah.
how many open houses per week
Yeah. Well,
would
I
make
would.
a difference?
Yeah, I would recommend the 2 to 4 per week. And I know that sounds crazy, but you can literally do 11 to 1 on Saturday and 2 to 4 on Saturday, and then do the exact same thing on Sunday. You can even do open houses during the week now, right? Like
Yes.
that even works. So it's about doing multiple open houses, keep them very simple. I'm not a fan of the big mega open house, the 25 signs and the door knocking and all of that, because you just get exhausted before you can actually be at the open house. So what I recommend is keep it really, really simple and do a lot of them. I look at it like fishing. Like when you go fishing, there's hot spots and not hot spots. And eventually you're going to be so good at fishing, you're going to know the hot spots. I knew in my market the open houses to do and the open houses to avoid. Right, I knew, and the that hot spot fishing spot is the high turnover neighborhood. The median price range, high turnover neighborhood are the best for open houses.
Wow. This has been really interesting. Let's drop some fire in the chat. Everyone go follow Neil. You know, this is super valuable. It's so basic. It's so, just simple, but it's not easy. And I'm with you. In my case, I would say everyone needs to be doing at least 4 open houses per week. There's nothing else to do unless you are out, working with a qualified or cash buyer. There's nothing else to do unless you are out on a listing appointment, ready to get that listing agreement signed. If you are at neither one, go open up an open house 4 times a week. You just said it, 11 to 1, and then,
2 to
2 to
4.
4.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
it. What else is there to do? Neil, thank you so much for accepting our invitation here on Agents in the
Thank you.
Trenches. I hope it's not the first and last time. You're definitely welcome to join us again. I'm
I
sure you
would
have
love that.
so much to share.
Yeah.
And you're in Fort Myers as well, you said,
I
right?
am. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have my team reach out to you because I would love to invite you to one of my Winners Wednesdays Productivity Boot Camp.
Oh yes, I
That,
love that. Yeah.
yes, it's in person. We do it at the Academy. The
All right.
Academy is in Fort Myers, and we have built a community of phenomenal real estate and industry leaders that want to grow. That's what they want to do is grow.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Do you want me to close this off by giving us the steps? I can give everybody the steps to follow
Yes,
if
go
we've got
ahead.
time here. So
Absolutely.
the first, it's an 8-step process. So the first step is to build a database. Second step is to send an announcement letter. Third step is to start mailing monthly newsletters. Fourth step is to pick a chase pillar and start doing it hardcore, right? Go all in. Fifth step is to set up a matchmaker. And again, matchmaking is simply listen for their contact information and their search criteria and then get busy finding them a property. And it's music to their ears when they hear you say, I saw this house and I thought of you. And you can get good at finding off-market properties and it gets good. It gets good. So that's
Yes.
step number 5. Step number 6 is to systematize your business. Anything that you do repetitively has to have a system. So buyer consultation, listing appointment, writing an offer, presenting an offer, all of those are systems. Every one of them, you should have that in place. That's step 6. Step 7 is to start your attraction pillar, or maybe you've already started it. Now it's time to double down on it. And then step number 8 is to continue building your sphere of influence. So you go back to your sphere of influence and you add client events and pop-bys and deal of the week and additional things to your sphere. So follow those 8 steps so you're not overwhelmed. I know we had some comments here where it's like, oh my gosh, this could be so much, so overwhelming. Just follow those steps. And I've got all of my steps. My book is available on Amazon. So all of the steps are in there. And I also have a guide that we could give out too, a 3-pillar plan guide for anybody
Nice.
interested as well. So
Nice, 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 nice. I love it. So yes, let's go ahead and do that. And actually, I think we should come together at the Academy, take it even to a deeper level, and give out some of those guides to the people that show up and want to learn. So if you want to be invited to the academy with Neil, drop a number 10 in the chat, and I'll be sure my team gets that put together so we can definitely make a difference in our, real estate industry and continue to have agents rising. Neil, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, accepting the invitation. And everyone, until next time, this was Agents in the Trenches. So let's go crush it and close more deals.
Let's go.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.